Okay, so in this video, we're going to demonstrate how to create different pre-approval scenarios for your clients. So instead of just having this one massive email where you're outlining a bunch of stuff for the client and then it's getting lost, we can actually put those scenarios side by side in their client portal. So to do this, you're going to go to your pipeline. You're going to find the file that you want to create the pre-approval scenario for, and then you're going to go down to this scenarios tab right here. So once you're in the scenarios tab, you'll click create scenario, you'll give it a name, and for this scenario, we're going to do purchasing with car paid out. Okay, click create. And here's where you can configure your scenario. So in this case, I'm just going to put some mock numbers here. We got a 30-year amortization. Maybe they can qualify for a $600K mortgage based on what I reviewed in Velocity. Maybe they have $200,000 down and their max purchase price $800,000. Okay, now for rates, I don't actually have to include rates. If you don't want it in your portal, you'll notice that there's all these buttons here that say portal. If you select that, it actually makes it so it doesn't show up in the assessment. But for the purpose of this review, we're going to have everything included. We're going to remove 1 and 2-year terms because we don't really need that. And I'm also going to remove the 4-year term, but I'm going to add a variable rate term for 5 years. Okay, so now I know I can get a 4% 3-year fixed. I can get a 4.29 5-year fixed, and I can get a 3.89 5-year variable. And then I'm going to get this mortgage amount that I know they qualify for, and you could put different amounts in here if you want, but it will automatically calculate the payments, so you don't need to worry about that. So the payments are already in there, and if we keep scrolling down, let's just say this $200,000 for their down payment was coming from their sale. Maybe they're selling a $525,000 condo, and I'm going to deduct the realtor fees from that. It'll automatically calculate 7% and 3%. However, you could adjust it if you want. Now we also got to pay out a mortgage, say $350,000. Mortgage balance $350,000, and then we got to pay out our car loan because that's what we are doing right here. So car loan. Actually, that won't come from here. We'll do that in the debt payouts. But mortgage balance, maybe at a HELOC balance, $20K. Okay, so that's what we got there. Or you could also add in maybe prepayment penalty, $4,500. And this client's already showed me in his bank statements that he has an extra $150,000 in investments and savings. So as you notice, by adding these things to the sale proceeds, it's actually going to already start breaking down how much he has available for his down payment. So with the sale deduction, the net proceeds, but he also has additional cash that I put here. So he has about $280,000 to put towards down payment. But we haven't added in the closing costs. We haven't added in the debt payouts. So right now I'm going to go property transfer tax on the new house that he's buying. It's going to be $14,000. Legal fees, probably $3,000 if you're doing a buy and a sell. Appraisal, $500. Home inspection, $175. And then title insurance, or home inspection, $300. Title insurance, $175. So those are some closing costs. Again, you can remove any ones you want, and you can add more using this add cost button. And then last thing for debt payouts, I'm going to do car paid out. Okay, $20,000. So now all in all, after paying everything out, he has $240,000 left. He's only putting $200,000 down. If he wanted to increase it, he could. This is not where you're doing underwriting. I don't want anyone to make that mistake. You do not underwrite files in here. This is for you to present your offers to the client. So you already know what the max amount is, what the down payment is, what the purchase price is. This is just for you to illustrate it side by side in different scenarios for the client. So now that I have all this info, typically in a pre-approval, you're going to write up this massive email. It's going to cover first-time homebuyer benefits, cover the scenario. That's what you're going to put in the notes section here. So I actually have one templated out, and I actually call it pre-approval notes. Let me go down here, pre-approval template. So I have all my notes already templated out here, which goes over some rate info on what makes up an interest rate, down payment, credit score, income structure, stuff like that. all the different closing costs and how it breaks down, and then first-time homebuyer benefits. Now, if it wasn't a first-time homebuyer, I would just delete this. You can customize this however you want, but this just pulls from your email templates that you already have made. So now that we have this full scenario built, we're going to go save changes, and we're going to publish it to their portal. Okay, so now if I wanted to just send them that one scenario, I click Update Client, and then it's going to pull that little snapshot of that scenario into an email template with access to their portal. And if I want to change the message up on the top, just like the Documents tab, you're going to select from your email templates, and you can send out the message in there. So pretty straightforward. You click Send, and what it's going to look like on the client side, let me open that up. So in the client's portal, if they go to the Scenarios tab, it's going to show here as a scenario. Now, as you have more scenarios, they're going to go side by side, so they can view exactly what they qualify for. And then when you drop it down, disregard this. It's because I didn't edit the template, but they can drop it down, see the full notes of what you're asking about. And then at the very bottom, they can see the full breakdown too of the sale proceeds, outlining all the deductions, and then also the rate options with the payments. So everything can be side by side, which is really nice, especially if you're trying to illustrate different options. Now, what I do want to mention is you can unpublish things, meaning it's going to take it out of the client's portal, but you still have record of it. You can also add a disclaimer in case you want to make sure there's the proper disclaimer in there. There's a standard one by default. And you can also have internal notes. If you underwrote this file a certain way and you want to remember maybe 3 months later how you got these numbers, you could put the notes in there. Now, what I typically do is I typically do it one time, and then I click this duplicate button, and now I have a second one. And maybe this one we're going to call without car paid out. Okay, so now that we have that one, well, now they might qualify for a little bit more. Maybe they can go an $850 purchase price, and they have a $650,000 mortgage, and then you just replace the mortgage amount. Right? So now they have the new payments, everything's updated. Their sale amount's still probably the same. Their closing costs is still probably relatively the same. And yeah, you might change up the notes a little bit, but once that's done, save changes. We're going to publish it to the portal. And now that you have both, if you do the update client, it's going to pull them both into that email snapshot and then access to their portal. And then to hop over and show you, once I refresh this portal, Scenarios tab, now you can see they're both side by side, and they can drop them both down and really compare both options all in one spot. So if they go to the financial summary, they can compare the rate options of this one versus this one, the full sales proceeds breakdown if they were different. And it's just a great way to illustrate these pre-approval scenarios for clients. So that is the Scenarios tab. A couple last things I want to mention is if you did an insured mortgage, it will have a spot for mortgage default insurance. If you want to remove things from your assessment, you click this portal button, and it's listed pretty much everywhere. There's a portal button, you toggle it off, and it will remove it from the assessment. You also, this eye icon will tell you how many times an update's been sent to the client. So if you have an assistant that maybe sent it out and you're not sure if they sent it, so you don't know if you should send it, the eye icon right there will show you if it's been sent. And you can easily edit the scenarios after the fact just by clicking edit, and it opens up that module. So hopefully this helps. We did this to basically get rid of clients not being able to find their pre-approval reports from months past in their email. They can easily just hop on their portal from any one of the document reminders, any one of the offer updates, or any one of the scenarios that you've ever sent them to see side by side what they can qualify for. So hopefully this helps, and if you have any questions, be sure to reach out, and feel free to check the text-based tutorial in the Help Center as well that goes along with this video. Thanks a lot.